It's funny that I'm listening to everyone talk about Mr. Burket, and I have a feeling that it's going to be such a testimony to his character to see that the theme, that we're going to see themes in what people are saying in their recollection of Mr. Burket and in their experiences with him, because just listening to you guys, the way I met Mr. Burket was that he just started showing up. And we're so busy. I dance, and he's always been very supportive of the dance industry that I belong to. And we'd be there Thursday night, and suddenly this guy just started coming and standing on the back with his hands like this and praying to kind of inspire the creativity going on in the room. And he was there. We got to know him by his consistent presence. He was just always a comfort, a security, a humility that was always present in the room that we could depend on. And that's so important to young girls that are trying to figure out exactly how they're going to in pursuing Christ. And he never was the one to grab the mic and would always say one-liners, and they'd be profound. We're exactly, that's it. And how he came to talk to me personally was just, side comments I'd be coming out of the room, and he would say, I have this song I desire for you. I really think you could choreograph it. I think I could choreograph it. Did you pick me out of the room? Did you pick me personally out of the room? And he was so he gave me this song to choreograph, and that's how we kind of got talking. And eventually I became to be blessed by him in more ways outside of the classroom, because I think he was such a thorough man in his ministry, with his relationships with youth and with everyone. Because, this is when I was 15 years old, and I'm 23 now, and I've gone to college, I've lived in D.C., and, could have very easily lost touch with him. But he was always so thorough in keeping in touch, and so consistent in prayer, and financially blessing me, and always there to talk. I think the greatest thing that I learned from Mr. B is he was such a fantastic example of how Christ loves me. Because growing up, people give to you, give love to you with conditions and with expectations. But this was an entirely new thing that I experienced from this man. He would want to bless me, he'd want to pray for me, he'd want to financially support the missions that I was dreaming up. He wanted to be that support, and at first I was taken aback, because I would say to him, Mr. Burket, Mr. B, I did not ask you to do this. I did not ask for your support. I don't really understand why you're giving it to me, and of course, growing up, it's so common that we see, you're giving me something, what do you want back? You're supporting me, you're trying to bless me, what do you expect from me? And that would be pressure. I would say, I can't. You're going to do this, Mr. B, and I'm going to blow it. What if I can't be what you think I can be? What if I don't go on to missions and tell the whole world about Jesus? I said to him, what if the greatest thing I do is cut orange slices for a soccer game, and I'm a mom? And he told me, then I guess I'm going to be buying a lot of oranges. And that was always what he said to me, and just removed that pressure. And I came to realize, and even more every day, even as I'm driving here, that, isn't that how God loves us? With no expectation, limitless giving. And he was such a fantastic example of that. And I'm so grateful to learn that lesson from him, to learn how to give so honestly and openly, with such humility and meekness. I know that, this has been some years that I've had a relationship, that I've known Mr. B, and I know just from the faces here that I am by far not the only person impacted by his love. And I don't know if we will ever see the whole picture of the man that he was, of what he was doing, and the thoroughness of which his ministry really was. But the only consolation I have is that God knows, that heaven knows, and that they are applauding him. That is in my opinion.
I have a letter to read from Brandon Smith, and a few words to share myself. Brandon was a student of Mike's student. I really wish I could have been there. I couldn't get a flight out at the time. Unfortunately, it's tough being 3,000 miles away from the people that I love and not being able to be there to help or comfort them. Mr. B was my teacher for Bible and history throughout junior high, and I would often give him a hard time. One of the few teachers that didn't take any lip or sarcasm, so I learned my lesson quickly to stop talking and to do my work. Of all the teachers at CCA, Mr. B understood me the most. He knew I hated homework and that I completed virtually no assignments whatsoever through 7th to 9th grade. During this time, we had become friends, and he had taught me a lot about compassion in the Bible. After 9th grade, I left CCA, but Matt Tozer had told me that he had a Bible study at his house. His apartment was directly down the street and to the left, about a 3.5-minute walk, and I began going regularly. A little later, he talked about wanting to open a youth center for kids to play games and to have a place to be instead of getting into trouble. B.J. Maniac had asked me if I wanted to come and help paint the place and get some stuff up, which I did. I fell in love with the idea. During this time, I would have considered myself spiritually lost and confused about God's love for me. Mr. Burket brought me to the realization that God does love me and he looks after me. Also during this time, I had trouble at home and didn't want to be home very often. Whenever I had a problem at home or some trouble in my life, I would go over to Mr. B's. He would always have Snapple, Dr. Pepper, and Sunny D at the very least. And I would usually be starving and extremely thirsty from walking around town during the day. I felt bad for drinking all this Sunny D nearly every time I went. So when I would arrive, usually unannounced, considering my cell phone was almost always broken in some way, and I had run out of quarters for the payphone, he would let me in, offer me something to drink or eat, and let me stay until my situation would cool down. Not many people ever put up with me in that way. I know some of you are wondering when I'm going to get done with my narration, but just sit tight, I'm almost done. Mr. B was always there for me no matter what, sometimes more there for me than the members of my household, unfortunately. He was a sort of father figure for me for those years.